Check 2. Hello. Hello. Hello, hello. I think I finally got the background right. What do you think? I moved the camera so you see my head in full. You see my full head now. Plus we have Ilya Ulyanov up there. And the one plant. The one plant. I feel like that's looking pretty good. New season 3 features, full head. That's right. That's right. I had a bunch of out of context puns that just sprung to my head there, and I'm just not even going to give it to you. Season 3, new me. When I think of a thing that I know for sure is going to be clipped out of context, I'm going to avoid saying the thing and avoid myself a whole lot of pain in the future. Season 3, full of beef. Fuck, Red Scary in the Discord the other day posted that video of the guy that had clipped his professor saying beef over and over and over again. And for sure the next time I do have a beef, and folks, you know that I try to avoid beefs at all costs. Everyone knows this. Everyone knows this about me. I try to avoid beefs at all costs. But if the day does come that I'm called to the beef lifestyle once more, I've got a great intro. I've got a great intro for a potential beef segment. Obviously, no one's gonna go down that road. I'm widely liked and admired by all, so obviously I'm not going to be beefing with anyone anytime soon, but just in case it happens, I got a really good beef intro ready to go. Hello, comrades. How are you on this glorious day? Because I'm feeling cheerful. Just aced both my exams. Hell yeah, Dimitri. We love it. We love it. Congratulations to you. So is this a season premiere? I don't know, folks. Is it? I don't even know anymore. I thought it was supposed to be Friday. I called a mulligan. Last night I explicitly said it wasn't the season 3 premiere because it was like a weird time and I didn't know how it was going to go. But then I ended up feeling pretty good about it. And I was like, maybe this should have been the season premiere. But you can't retroactively make something the premiere. Is this the premiere? I don't know. I don't know anymore. This started at mostly a normal time. You know, got lots of stuff to get into. Good kind of season premiere stuff, but who knows anymore? Who even knows what episode this is? What season is this? What episode is it? I don't know. The frame is set up nice, a little bit nicer. It kind of feels like the premiere. It'd be very authoritarian to retro premiere last night's stream. That would be pretty wild. That'd be pretty wild and crazy. You found the next Lenin statue I need? Is it one of those big giant like brass 20-foot statues? Yeah, there we go. 15.7 feet. See, I was saying I would only 89 grand for this bad boy. That's a steal. I'm pretty sure we've looked at this before. I'm like 90% sure that we've looked at this before. But at 89,000, I mean, that's great. That's a great piece of art. I mean, that seems like a lot of money. You know, when you say it, $89,000. It does seem like a lot of money, certainly. But like, that's an investment. You know, you're making an investment into the future with that. When you buy a 15-foot Lenin statue, 90 grand, that's only going to go up. That's only going to go up in value. That's like a real life NFT, you know? That's like a real, you know, it's like a real physical, non-metaverse, non-Web3, but a real life, 3-dimensional IRL NFT. You can have that in your, 15 feet? I don't know if those ceilings here are big enough. Maybe you could really squeeze him into the corner here with like his head just poking through the drywall on the top. But that's where I feel like the landlord would understand in that case. Like, why did you smash through the drywall? Well, there's something sticking out of the floor above us. And it's like, but sir, look at this though. And they're like, oh, sorry, carry on. Carry on. I'm sorry to say anything, sir. It's a real life NFT, also known as art. That's right. This new thing. This new exciting thing. If I buy this and put it on my front yard, how long before neighbors file a complaint to the city? Well, that's private property, Lamport. Like, what are they going to do? That's private property. Do they care about private property rights or don't they? Sir, not in front of my 15-foot linen, please. Like, people talk about those 15-foot skeletons at Halloween. Like, that would be even better. Buck a skeleton you get from Home Depot or whatever. Give me one of those bad boys. Hello, Andy Streeman. What's up? Set him on his side and put some glass on it. It's a revolutionary dining room table. I feel like that would be degrading, though. You know? That would be degrading. Just watching you cut the turkey. Could help you in the carpool lane. It's like your car just like up on two wheels. This giant statue in there, like meep meep. Have you seen the absolute shit show the World Cup is becoming? Not really. No. I mean, the last I paid attention to it was when people were like, "Iran's not allowed to play." Iran, no country that ever commits human rights violations should be allowed in the World Cup. I don't know if that's a standard they want to set, but okay. I heard Iran was executing 55,000 protesters. They're just dumping them into a big pit. I heard that. They shouldn't be able to play soccer. You know? Come on. Let Ukraine win. It's pro-Russian to not let Ukraine win the World Cup. They should just be allowed to win every game. What, do people support Russia? Do you support Putin? Do you love freedom or not? Let Ukraine win every game. It's rude. It's pro-Putin to like try against them. We have Wales, and we appreciate Wales. Wales deserves to be there. I know they technically went out in the playoffs, but still. That sounds like Putin propaganda to me, Lamport. When you say they went out in the playoffs in a legitimate competition, very interesting, Ivan. What time is it in St. Petersburg right now, sir? What time is it in the St. Petersburg troll farm, sir? Ugh. I was so distracted this morning. It's a very snowy day. It is a snowy day here in Montreal. A lot of snow last night. Still snow, and it's been coming down all day. I wasn't really expecting quite this much, but it is quite a lot of snow. It's a snowy day here in Montreal. I was late getting started. I was very distracted this morning. I kind of forgot to eat. I just munched down some tiny nan breads and queso just while the stream was loading there. I'm very distracted. As you may know, some of you may know, and I very much appreciated the people that were nice to me about this. I've been talking about my anxiety about releasing music. I have weird drama left over from my time in the music biz back in the day. I haven't released new music for like 11 years, 12 years, I guess now. And I did put an actual single up on Bandcamp last night. I just kind of put it there just to like see that it was there and feel comfortable with the idea that it was there. I put the link in the music section of the TRRS Discord. I was very happy that some of you checked it out. I feel a little bit better about it because I got some some nice feedback on the track. That wasn't just like, oh yeah, good job for doing this. It seemed like people kind of enjoy it. So I'm feeling a little bit more confident about it. I shared it with our friend Bleep Blomp Ben this morning, and Ben seemed to enjoy it too. Seems like people genuinely kind of like it. I would love it on Spotify. Well, I think I'm gonna do you just have to pay. You can put the stuff on Spotify and whatever, YouTube Music and stuff. I think I'll probably just do it. I'll just bite the bullet and do it. I feel a little bit more confident now that people have listened to it. And people seem to like it. So I might just do it. I don't know. I'm almost there. I'm getting there. Yeah, you have to pay to get it on there. Listen to it this while shaving. There we go. Your singing voice sounds as soothing as your speaking voice. It's been a long struggle for me to try and... Because it's not, singing is one thing, but it's also just making sure your voice sounds good when you record it. Because you can sit there and sing something, and it can still sound like shit, even if you sing it properly. And finding a way to bring the character out of your voice, that's the tricky part. That's kind of something that it's taken me sort of years to figure out how to do, both when you're writing and when you're producing. And it's something that I'm starting to get a grip on. I'm starting to understand how to do this. This is because I was never really called classical, thought of myself as a singer. I sang backup vocals. I just more like to play guitar and write songs and that kind of stuff.
And have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
Sing me a song, Piano Man. TRRS Rob Knife.
Thank you, Moist Owlets. 20 months of Tier 1. Thank you, Moist Owlets. Very kind of you. Thank you. If people did like that one, I was working on another track this morning. I got a couple other ones kind of in the can. I was working on another one this morning because the tricky thing that I'm trying to figure out now musically is I've written a couple of new things, and now I'm trying to take a look at some of the demos that I've done over the years that I've just never released and try and redo them in these current sessions and make them sound kind of like the other ones, which is a lot different than just building something from the ground up, because then you're trying to recreate something that you did before that you don't necessarily you don't necessarily remember how you made all the sounds and did everything. You have to kind of get used to hearing it a different way. So that's the kind of tricky part. But if you did enjoy the song that I put out, I do have another banger on the way that I was working on this morning. A song that I wrote probably in 2016, shortly after Trump was elected, when it felt like the world was ending. Remember that feeling? When it felt like the whole world was ending? And now it still feels like that, or it feels like that even more, but now you're just used to it. Now you're just used to this feeling of oh, everything's collapsing now. You're kind of just used to living in that now. But at the time, it was very fresh. And it's just I wrote this very, very poppy track, this very synth pop track at that time, just as a way to mentally escape from the relentlessness of this feeling of we're all just everything kind of sliding down the drain here. Sobbing at every red light because you don't know what's gonna happen. Yeah. Now I'm just used to it. Now it just feels like that all the time. As far as releasing the next song, do you have a timetable? Not near, not far. I don't know. Outrun. I'm gonna finish this next one. And we'll see how it goes. I've got some other ones that are good and done. It's just a question of whether I'm comfortable enough releasing them and getting other people to listen to them. The neoliberalism will continue until morale improves. There we go. And it works, I guess. I guess it just works. You just get used to it. I mean, that's hypernormalization, right? That's hypernormalization. You just get used to it. You know everything's broken. You know it's not getting better. You know there's just further decline. You know all our institutions are corrupt, but it's just you just rather than doing something about that, you just kind of accept it and you just move on with your life and just imagine you still just have faith in all these things just to continue. Yeah, it's weird. It's been weird getting back into music though. It's a good feeling, but it's strange too. It's been many years since I really have been thinking about this so much. Some upbeat M83 vibes. Yeah, I Old Dutch, I was really I really liked that. that M83 album Saturdays Equals Youth with like the very dreamy vocals. And I think in later albums like Midnight City, etc., they tried to like have real singing, but I really loved those earlier tracks with that really spacey, like ephemeral kind of like vocal style, reverby and echoey and that kind of stuff. So that's kind of what I try to bring in these tracks that I've been doing now. I play with reverb all day. It's very fun, isn't it? Well, I'm happy. I was happy to get your feedback too, Carrywave, because I know you're like an audio guy, and like I don't think I'm like the best. I think I'm a pretty decent writer. I have no idea what I'm doing when it comes to actually producing, but I'm starting to kind of figure some stuff out just on my own, without having any real understanding of like frequencies or the serious like audio nerd stuff that you need to think about when you're like engineering or mastering and stuff. I don't know about any of that. I just know like what my ear wants to hear, and I try to just give that. I try to just bring that. That's been fun though, and it feels good. Like I put that out. I feel good about the feedback that I've been getting. You see the video of that 6-year-old recreating beats in FL. I think I've seen a video of like a 6-year-old. I thought it was like a GarageBand prodigy, but it's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing seeing like what kids that have just like grown up with that kind of technology can do. Like I still very much grew up doing music in the world where the whole recording part was like you had to be like you have to leave that to like the masters, the geniuses. There's like this wizard class that understands the machines that you can use to record the stuff, and just this transition to being able to do anything just in your bedroom or in your house, and having like a professional sounding like audio recording setup just from your local PC. That's like a very new phenomenon. It's still something that I'm kind of grappling with. Can't wait to get a MIDI keyboard and start messing around for fun. Want to get my 3-year-old playing with it too. Well, they're not expensive. They're not very expensive. Like you can get one for pretty cheap. It's led to the creation of so much bad black metal. I imagine so. Well, that's the thing, metal dipshit. Like it's opened it up for anyone that wants to be able to create professional sounding audio recordings. It's opened it up to the people that are not talented at all. And it's opened it up to people that had talent and just weren't able to express that. You know, that's the whole internet thing as well. It's made it possible for every single person to get every single thing that they create out there. Not always for good. Not always for the cause of good. You know? I used to love doing that kind of music too. If I could just play guitar and have a soundproof box just for my head, I'd have Mike Patton levels of bands and projects. But subversive history, like you just need noise canceling headphones, and you can have all the amps in your computer, even in an iPad. Like you can if you have an iPad, you can get a guitar interface and have GarageBand. You have a million great sounding guitar sounds on that. Have headphones, and you do have a soundproof box for your head. You know, you don't need that shit anymore. You don't need to have live guitars. Oh, to like yell really loudly in your apartment. Okay, that's the tricky part. Yeah, that's tricky as well. That's always a little weird. I just sing very quietly. I sing very quietly and then I fix it in the mix. let alone making weird dying animal noises. Yeah, you can't do those. Those are tricky. When you got neighbors. Okay, yeah. Well, that's what I got going on. I was happy to do that. Got some more stuff on the way. If you're interested in following along, maybe eventually I'll get to the point where I'll actually like mention that I do this stuff on Twitter and like link to it. I'm not quite there yet. But eventually maybe I might be able to get there. And the feedback I'm getting is kind of decent enough that I'm starting to feel confident enough to actually like let people know that I've got this stuff out there. Yeah, we don't need to turn this into the whole like my music career discussion though. My revitalized midlife crisis music career. We can stick with the normal subject matter. I do appreciate people in the community though for allowing me to have this kind of outlet. Being able to create music for this stream is what kind of helped me get back into the mindset of doing this. And that track that I released was based on an instrumental that I created just for this stream that I've played a number of times on this stream. So, happy to have this community to be able to do a kind of soft release on this kind of stuff. It's been really cool. It's been really cool to have. It helped me because I lost a lot of confidence when my music career didn't really work out.
Good old Rob to talk you through all this.
More like Season P. Owned.
Oh my god. 10,000 sandwiches. Oh my god. Season P. Good lord. 10,000 sandwiches. Thank you for the 24 months of Tier 2. And congratulations to you for the highly exclusive, highly exciting gold TRRS 24-month sub badge. Congratulations to you. The main hook has been stuck in my head all day, so I think you're doing something right. I do know how to write hooks. Like, I do.
On me. You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
It's something that it's taken me years to kind of figure out, And I worked with great songwriters in the past, and it's taken me years to kind of figure out how to do this. And how to have a decent hook that works within the music and have other instruments that are complementing that and not stepping all over it. It's taken me years to kind of figure this shit out. Thank you, Typo Chad House. 13 months of Prime from Typo Chad House. Thank you very much. Need the P badge. You're getting up there, Dakadoon. You're getting up there. More hooks than Muhammad Ali, they used to say. That's what they do say about me. That's what they do say. That's what they say. How's everyone else doing? I get it, Rob. Big past traumas like that take a lot of time to get past. Happens to us all. Good to see you getting going, though. Yeah, you know what? Part of it is because, like,
we simply use the computer to mark up the size of the account.
Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. I need a sub badge that looks like P.
Thank you, Metal Dipshit, for the 200 friend coin. I've talked about it a little because I've talked about my music career in the past, and I've been kind of honest about it. But I talked also about how, like, in the band that I was in, our big actual like hit song that most people know, and when people look it up, they see it. I just never really liked it all that much. It's a very good pop song. It's catchy. That's why it was popular, and that's what made us kind of successful. No, we're not calling it the P badge. We're not. We are not doing that. But I've always felt this kind of like anxiety about it because like it's not really the music that I was really passionate about. I didn't really have any hand in writing it. I was more just like there. And I guess I kind of wanted like to have, if people are going to like look me up and, look up former stuff that I was into in music, I would like to have like a musical legacy that I have more control over. That's maybe something that's like mine, If It's kind of a way for me to like overcome this like feeling from my past that I'm like have this weird like sense of embarrassment or whatever. Were you part of a boy band? Kind of, yeah, I kind of was. So it's a way for me to kind of reclaim that and create kind of a legacy that I feel more comfortable with. As a Backstreet Boy, that's right. I was one of the alternates. I was one of the alternates in case like Nick Carter twisted his ankle or something. I brought me in there. The Canadian alternates for when one couldn't get over the border. Exactly. Heroic Skeleton, hello. What's your company way? Can you add your Bandcamp to your link tree and embed it searching for stuff? Yeah, I guess I could do that. I could do that. I do genuinely like a bunch of Backstreet Boys songs. You know an underrated Backstreet Boys song? I mean, you talk about good Backstreet Boys singles, and obviously I Want It That Way is the main one. It's a great song. It's a really great song, great pop song. And a sneaky good Backstreet Boys single was Shape of My Heart, if you remember that one. Any former Backstreet Boy heads in the chat? Shape of My Heart was a sneaky good Backstreet Boys single that I still enjoy to this day. Written by Max Martin, who I think wrote every single one of their big hits. It's a classic Max Martin single. Anyone remember that one? That was a good one. I think I like NSYNC more. Yeah, well, NSYNC have some very good songs as well. I really love those early NSYNC singles. What were they? Thanks for putting it in my head. No problem. Any street heads in here? Yeah. Tearing Up My Heart was the second NSYNC single. Really good song. I can sing the verse for the other one, but I don't remember the chorus. Why we can't be lovers. Understand. We can win. Let it go. You want me, girl? Let me know. I'm down on my knees. Anymore. Well, that's Tearing Up My Heart. Okay. That's the one. That's the verse. There was the first single that was also pretty good. Tearing Up My Heart is excellent, though. After I purchased super expensive tickets to Backstreet Boys, my kids told me they wanted someone more cool to take them. Oh, no, Hildebeest. Oh, no. There's no worse feeling than getting owned by your own children, is there? Was it I Want You Back? Yeah, it was I Want You Back. Okay, that was the first one. They were very good, too. Yeah. I Want You Back and Tearing Up My Heart. They had, later in their career, they had a bunch of good songs as well. I liked those first two singles, though. We underestimate how big these, because this was like right before streaming existed, like right in the tail end of like the actual music business, like selling CDs and stuff. We underestimate how massive these, like how in comparison to like what we would classify as like a hit album now, how much some of these NSYNC albums
We simply
completely
use the
were
computer
just,
to
like,
mark up
fucking
the
massive.
size of the account.
Watching my favorite show with a delicious Mexican Coke. Cheers. Heart also. This should be the TRRS official drinking song.
Thank you, Dimitri. Thank you, Dimitri, for the 500 friend coin. This delicious Mexican Coke. Let's check this out.
Unser Chaver, ay, 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 ay. Sotgele bei unser Chaver, ay, 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 ay. Ist gewinn, ay, der Brave, ay, 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 ay. Ist gewinn, ay, der Brave, ay, 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 ay. Oh, die gucken auf die Sterne, ay, 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 ay. Oh, die gucken auf die Sterne, ay, 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 ay.
We should start learning that Soviet dancing. And the whole Western world was just terrified of these guys, right? Look how fucking wonderful they are. These people were trying to lead us to a utopian future, and we spat in their faces. We said, oh, they're trying to kill us. They're so evil. We have to do genocide so we can stop them. And anything we do, we can kill and maim and fucking overthrow whoever. And it's all justified because of the terror that we're experiencing when we see these fellas.
Akol wird so bei uns werden, ay, 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 ay. Akol wird so bei uns werden, ay, 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 ay. Oh, lo mir machen
We could have had cool dances.
ay, 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 ay. Lo mir machen alle Chaim, ay, 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 ay. Fahr dem Leben, fahr dem Neiem, ay, 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 ay. Fahr dem Leben, fahr dem Neiem, ay, 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 ay.
This is what they took from us.
Ay, 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 ay. Unser lieber Stalin, unser lieber.
So I talked about my new single, and this is my way to debut it. That's good stuff. That's very good stuff. That should be our drinking song. If we do a real life meetup, I think we should do that, banging our fists on the tables and stuff. I think we should do that. That would be fun. That'd be very fun. You should totally cover that. Well, that's the thing. If my midlife crisis music career does take off, if that single gets in front of the right people and somehow it just takes off, I can be the first like Stalinist pop star. I could trailblaze that. Whoa, those dancers Stalinists? Yeah. I could bring that back. I could make that cool again for the youth. I'd be dancing like that after the patriotic war too. Absolutely. Absolutely. Make Stalin better than unfurls halfway through your first TV appearance. That'd be tremendous. That would just be tremendous. Just don't let anyone know. This is the dance I do after I drived Hitler to suicide. And you should do that. Yeah. You should do the dance. Could be you in famous Hojest Dua Lipa. Oh boy. Very exciting. Very, very exciting. So eventually, we're almost through with the chit chat element. Friends, we're going to get to the end of the chit-chat zone in a couple minutes. We're 45 minutes into this thing, and we can start looking at some of these clips I got saved up. We got some clips. Believe me. We got clips. We got clips like you wouldn't believe. Coming up on the season premiere, possibly. On the possible season premiere of TRRS, Season 3. Season 3 premiere. Very exciting. I'm going to change that. Excited to possibly be here. Exactly. You never know. That's the kind of interesting thing about this show, is that you never know when it is the season premiere. Is it today? Was it yesterday? Was it last night? We don't know. It would be a funny bit if the entirety of season 3 was you saying it may be the premiere. I'm leaning towards going in that direction. I mean, really, realistically, I think I have to acknowledge that we're in season 3, right? Whether I want to acknowledge it or not, it's here. It's happening. I wasn't very happy with the original premiere. I mulliganed that. I've had another couple of other opportunities now. Now, we don't totally know where it starts, but I feel like it's here, though, right? It has to be. It has to be. There was the election. The show started. This iteration of the show started on the election night. Joe Biden versus Donald Trump. We just had the midterms in the Joe Biden administration. We got the Orange Man himself, Drumpf himself, launching his new presidential campaign. It's got to be season 3, right? Season 3. That's right, really chill guy. That's right. Rob's Dr. Manhattan. It is December and I'm doing the season premiere. It is Tuesday and I'm doing the season premiere. It's 2024 and I'm doing the season premiere. VJ on the TRRS season 3 premiere. History is not straightforward. It zigs and zags. By the way, while a really chill guy is here, I hope everyone has checked out the latest episode of the Insurgents podcast, which you can check out there. It was another banger. It was just a solo episode with Jordan and I, but a very good one. What date did season 3 start? What date did the Roman Empire fall? History will figure it out. That's right. That's exactly right. It's like figuring out when a conflict started historically. It's a bit fuzzy. All I know is that these rations are delicious. We didn't have a guest bail on us. That's right. That didn't happen. Obviously, no one would disrespect us like that. No one would agree to come on the show and then just not show up. Incredibly disrespectful, let alone multiple times. That would be, just once would be enough. Let alone 2 times, though. We did plan to do a solo episode, though. Would never happen. Would never, ever happen. Incredibly disrespectful. I still, we're getting into now Donald Trump's new campaign. I don't want to say second campaign because he's run for president before, so I don't know what this would be, but I've really got to get my Trump better, I've got a few of the mannerisms. I got to have a passable Trump. There's no excuse now, right? It's been 6 years. There's no fucking excuse for me not to be able to do a passable Trump. I've got to focus on that. Focus. Can't wait to pick up the new 2024 election Sarah Cooper album. Me neither. I wonder how much she got for that Netflix thing. They paid her a couple million, right? Didn't they? Didn't Netflix? I'm sure they did. Jesus. What does she even do anymore? I imagine she just sits around counting her money that she got from Netflix for lip syncing Trump. That's what I would be doing. And God bless her, frankly. God bless her. Season 3 is going to have guests such as Abby Martin, VJ, and hopefully Dr. Horn. Let's go. I think we can pull off all of those, Dimitri. Her website has all her press hits, and it's a hard stop in late 2020. Yeah. And Roger Waters. Thank you. The number of libs who called that lady a comedic genius who trailblazed a new form of comedy for lip syncing. I mean, I think the first time I saw one of her videos, I probably went like, you know? Like I didn't just watch it stone faced. I think there was a cut that got me. She cuts to another guy, like not, and like it kind of worked. And I kind of went like, you know, like one of those. But it's like, that's a long way from pay this lady millions of dollars for a whole Netflix special, right? Like one time it's like, oh yeah, that's good. That's pretty funny. Offered up a sensible chuckle at the lip bait. It was all right. I just maybe don't think it needed to become a cultural phenomenon, you know? Like I was like, oh yeah, okay. Moving on. Yeah, it's like we don't need to keep looking at this though. We don't need more of these. I've been known I'm joining Jeff Tiedrick's writing staff this season. I had a tweet a couple months back, but I'm thinking about Jeff Tiedrick like going down to the basement like John Wick. He sees the Trump announcement, the presidential announcement is playing on the TV. Jeff Tiedrick's going down to the basement super grimly takes the sledgehammer, starts smacking the cement floor, gets out the posting phone from this case in the cement floor, cracks it open with the sledgehammer. Yeah, I'm thinking I'm back. All our faves. Even me, I was a Trump reply guy. I was a Trump reply guy before it was cool, frankly. You can still see my Trump reply guy tweets from like 2014. Okay, I've been Trump replying, all right? I wasn't one of these Johnny come latelys. I wasn't one of these Johnny come latelys becoming a Trump reply guy in 2017. I was right there in the fucking trenches on Twitter, 2013, 2014. Look at this. Look at this shit. I've been doing this. Right? People think I was late to this game. Okay? I am the game. Look at that. 2012. Excuse me. 2012. Okay? I didn't just start doing this shit now for clout. I didn't start doing this shit now for clout. This is 10 fucking years ago. Okay? You think that's all? You think that's all? You think that's my only Trump reply? Oh, you're mistaken. You're sorely mistaken. You're sorely mistaken. What about this? Even earlier. You think this is a fucking game to me, folks? You think this is a fucking game? Look at this. Yes, we do. This was a good PFP. That's right. I missed this one. Hold on, I think I got some more. I think I might have a couple more. What about this? I compared his genitals to this blobfish here. What about that? What do we think about that? Because you know, I know there's like the Jeff Tiedrichs of the world, the Jules Sudaltsevs of the world that got into the Trump reply game, you know, in 2016, 2017, 2018, and congratulations to them. Jules is good. I like Jules. But he did. The reason I know Jules is from being a blue tick Trump reply guy. That's how many people know Jules. I'm simply saying I was there. I was in there in the trenches laying the groundwork for the Juleses of the world, the Johnny come latelys in the Trump replies. Is in case anyone thinks that I'm one of these like, clout chasing reply guys. I've been doing this. I think that's all the ones that I have. If you search my actual my history of replying to Trump, there's probably dozens of them. I was born in a mold because that's actually like a tweet. Now that you say that, because I brought this back in 2019. I was born in it, molded by it. Did you pay your $8 for the blue check mark? Oh, do you think so? Let's check this out. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Photoshopped. Rob invented the combination of replying while guying. It's true. I invented that. That's me that did that. I am notable. It's official. This official website has just designated me notable, even though now I won't get the official tag though. I'm in the middle. Now that there's 3 classes, there's non-notable blue ticks, there's notable blue ticks, and there's official notable blue ticks. Now there's a 3rd level. There's 2 checks now. Elon's such a fucking genius. He invented a new way to verify people's identity called giving them a little check next to their name. He invented that. Good job, Elon. Almost got this perfected. Just came back from communal eating with the residents of Gallows Hill in my municipality and met some very nice communists, and one of them was yet another Chilean refugee from the 73 coup, so I had a really nice evening. That sounds lovely, Comrade Social Distancing. Sounds lovely. Yeah, I'm notable. Is the gray official tag only for advertisers? I don't know if it's advertisers or it's like, but it's like news outlets. Like I've seen like NBC, the big brands, you know? I need to fit. That's my new quest now. I get to get the official. The 2nd check. Rob Rousseau and the quest for the 2nd blue check. This is my new mission now. Rob's the real deal. Thank you, Ms. Squatch. Thank you. Thank you very much. About to make Rob parody accounts to tank his stocks. I wouldn't be surprised if someone did. One of the many haters and losers out there. I wouldn't be surprised if someone eventually did. You know, as everyone knows, I try to avoid the beef lifestyle, but sometimes it finds me. Elon is making employees sign a "I will work for long hours" pledge and fires the ones he doesn't sign. The hardcore. Yeah, we're going to make hardcore Twitter. I'm sure that's going to go well. I don't think there are Rob parody accounts, but it wouldn't surprise me. It would not surprise me at all. Forcing Twitter to go hardcore. I run a Rob parody account, but I won't divulge it here. Oh no. Oh no. Dark Rob. I want to set the record straight. There's only one official Rob account. It's this one. My gosh. Fucking outrageous. Some of the people in this community, I'm sorry to say, are outrageous, if you ask me. I'm sorry to go over the top with this, but it's true. Should we look at this President Xi thing? Should we look at the President Xi and Trudeau clip? Is this enough chit chat? I talked about my burgeoning midlife crisis music career. I don't even know what we've been talking about here for the last hour. I've been like a fugue state, honestly. Maybe we can finally look at this clip though. What do we think? Right here on the season premiere, maybe. Of TRRS. Dork Rob now. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, let's see here. Ah. So there's a couple things that I haven't looked at this. I saved myself. I haven't looked at this clip yet. I've been kind of like, when I see these clips, I'm like, I should save this for the stream to react to. So I have not looked at this yet. But let's check this out. We need a real man to stand up to Xi. Someone like Pierre Poilievre. Yeah, I'm sure Pierre would really give this guy the what for. I'm sure he would, yeah. I'm sure President Xi would be really fucking intimidated by Pierre Poilievre. It would genuinely be one of those, like, I don't think about you at all situations. If Pierre tried to get tough, this whiny, sniveling little reactionary creep, Pierre Poilievre, if he tried to get tough with President Xi, he'd be like, I don't know who this is. He'd be like talking to his interpreter, be like, who is this guy? I don't even know who you are. You took everything from us. Why are you why are you distorting our Canadian values? I don't even know who you are. So let's see this. Let's see. This is how a real diplomat. And nothing but respect for my president before I even look at the clip. This is a big I don't think about you at all moment. Let's see this.
Everything we discuss is then leaked to the paper. That's not appropriate. And that's not how the way the conversation was conducted. If there is sincerity on your part,
free and open and frank dialogue, and that is what we will continue to have. We will continue to look to work constructively together, but there will be things we will disagree on, and we will have to.
You know he understands too, right? Like, you know he understands. He can probably speak English pretty well. You know he understands, and he's just like, listen, you fucking twerp. Listen, asshole. You know this guy speaks English. Absolutely. Absolutely he does. Of course he does. This is great.
Together, but there will be things we will disagree on, and we will have to.
Let's create the conditions first.
He just wah, 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 wah. And this is Trudeau didn't even get like a closed door face to face meeting. This is the best he gets. You're dismissed. Yeah, sorry. Hold on. Sorry. You're dismissed. Oh, that's great. That's very good stuff. Hold on just one sec. I gotta turn this down.
To work constructively together, but there will be things we will disagree on, and we will have to.
Let's create the conditions first.
Oh, that's good. Listen, son. He lived in Iowa, the Muscatine, Iowa house where she stayed with an American family during a 1985 agricultural visit to the United States. The home was turned into a museum decades later. That was great. That was great. We were talking about it a bit last night, though, about how, like, in the past, pipe down, Junior. Listen, I have the largest economy in the world. Are you looking at me? Do not make eye contact with me. Do not make eye contact with me. But we were talking in the past about how, like, in the unipolar world, right? In the world, like, of the 90s, the end of history, the end of the Cold War, you got the United States and their imperial lackeys like Canada as kind of the only, and they're able to talk to people in China, they're able to talk to people around the developing world in this paternalistic lecturing tone, right? And they just have to take it. They just have to take it because if they don't, it's going to mean bad things to them. And now it's just like, no, we don't actually have to do this. You're not going to talk to me like this. No. All this shit is leaking to the press. Like, this is not how we do things. This is amateur hour. This is amateur hour over here. And Trudeau's like, well, you know, we're going to disagree sometimes. And he's like, we don't even have the conditions to even talk to one another. You're talking about disagreeing. We're not even, like, we have to create conditions where we can talk without this bullshit amateur hour, everything leaking to the press first. Then we can talk about maybe having a discussion with the possibility of potential disagreements or agreements that could maybe happen in this hypothetical conversation, which we're not having. Do not speak to me or my world-class high-speed rail ever again. Yeah. Oh man, pathetic. But yeah, the idea that Polyev would be like better than that or whatever. The idea that Polyev would be like, now listen here, sir. I think she would treat him with even less respect. It's insulting for Trudeau to maintain this line that it's just a difference of opinion we're seeing reflected in Canadian media. Yeah, like when we have like that piece that I looked at last night, like we need to start, we can't allow China to replace our Canadian values and stuff. Like a disagreement. Our parliament, our Social Democratic Party in our parliament and our reactionary Conservative Party are coming together to accuse them of doing genocide because like the CIA told them to and the US State Department told them to. We're imprisoning Chinese nationals because the United States Department was like, yeah, do this. They broke those Iran sanctions. So you gotta lock up Meng Wanzhou because we told you to. Forget the fact that the whole sanctions, Iran was not supposed to have sanctions because of the Iran deal, which they signed and the United States walked away from. And then they're like, even though we broke that deal, they're in violation of these sanctions now. So you got to lock up Meng Wanzhou. So we do. And then they snatch a couple of our spies. And then we spend the next 2 years like freaking out and crying over it. Crying over it, saying like, how dare they? How dare they respond to this obvious provocation? How dare they respond to this obvious like diplomatic like fuck up? Where we literally imprison one of their high-ranking nationals, one of their important nationals, and we just expect them to sit down and go, "Oh, thank you, Canada. Oh, thank you, master." We have to always remember to genuflect to our colonial masters in the West, right? Oh, thank you. We just expect them to do that. And when they actually respond to this obvious provocation on our end, we spend the next 2 fucking years crying about it. I'm sure there's a whole media establishment in Canada now crying that Trudeau didn't use this opportunity to bring up the goddamn Michaels now. I don't even need to look. I know for sure our commentariat, both the liberal style and the Conservative style, are probably tut-tutting and tisk-tisking and wagging their fingers at Trudeau today for not bringing up the goddamn Michaels now. Like, you know they are, right? Of course they are. Do not talk to me.
Everything we discuss is then leaked to the paper. That's not appropriate. And that's not how the way the conversation was conducted. If there is sincerity on your part,
free and open and frank dialogue, and that is what we will continue to have. We will continue to look to work.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir.
Together, but there will be things we will disagree on, and we will have.
Let's create the conditions first.
Oh, that was good. Nothing but respect for my president. Free and open and frank dialogue, you fucking goof. Here's what she said. Everything we've talked about have been leaked to the papers. That's not appropriate. That's not how the way the conversation was conducted, alluding to the inaccuracies of the leak. For this part, she finished what he said, but Trudeau cut the translator off, so I'll translate. He says, if there's sincerity, we can talk with mutual respect. Otherwise, then it's hard to tell. You know he fucking speaks English. You know he does. You know he does. Man, that was great. That was very good stuff. The only frank dialogue that Justin has about hot dogs. Oh my, Squatch. Get his ass. Roasted, talking about hot dogs, he roasted his ass. Our Canadian outlets talking about this. Oh, I don't doubt that they are. I'm sure there's people freaking out. I'm sure they are. Let's see. Let's see what our reactionary Canadian press is saying about this. I'm sure whatever the dialogue is, I'm sure it's very normal. I'm sure it's very normal and not weird at all. This is good. We got the body language experts weighing in. And, you know, frankly, I don't think this is the intention of the writer, but I agree with this. Body language inside conversation between Canadian PM Trudeau and Chinese leader Xi Jinping speaks volumes about Xi's current dismissive view of Canada. A country to be lectured and threatened. Goddamn right. Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And I love it. I love every moment of it, frankly. I fucking love it. That's exactly how people around the world should talk to Justin Trudeau and should treat this country. Again, I've talked about Canada thinks they can lecture China about this stuff. We can have an open and frank discussion, but we sometimes may disagree. Let's stop trying to pretend we're on anywhere near the same level, okay? This is a great pause face, too. He's like, can you believe this asshole? He's looking at his interpreter. Can you believe this asshole? This little prick. I agree. I agree with the body language expert here, actually. It is this country that should be lectured and threatened. Absolutely. Even Trudeau's owned so much that even fucking Benny Johnson is talking about how pathetic he is. Rather than turning it into an anti-China thing, Benny Johnson of all people, even he is like, okay, you got to hand it to President Xi here. That's how pathetic we are and how pathetic our prime minister is. He literally can't even walk after Xi Jinping publicly flogs him. True. They can't even say like, oh, Xi is so mean. They're like, no, he was correct to do that. Xi's family lost everything in the Cultural Revolution. His dad helped create the special economic zones. By the time she was a teenager, he was living in a cave in the countryside of Yunnan. And that's amazing when people try to lump him as being some kind of oligarch or whatever, right? Or some kind of elite. This man grew up in a fucking cave. Unlike almost every pampered, delicate, fragile Western leader that hasn't spoken to someone that makes less than six figures who isn't serving them something or working for them. Fucking go off. Absolutely. That was very good. I really enjoyed that. This is totally, for Xi Jinping, this is totally yep, that's me. Like the record scratch. Yep, that's me. You never believe how I got into this situation. Talking to this dumb fuck, whiny European loser. I'm stuck talking to this guy. Justin. Oh. That's good stuff. You're not a real head of state. You know this. Stop trying to talk to me. Look at this bullshit, too. Because now we're getting involved in the China electoral interference thing. It hasn't quite taken off as a narrative as much as the Russian electoral interference, but now we've got China covertly funded 2019 election candidates. Who are these pro-China election candidates that China is funding? I would actually love to know who that is, so I can support them. Okay, if there's a Canadian political candidate that's good enough for the CPC, the real CPC, there might be a worthwhile fucking individual in this damn country.
Persistent threats that keep Canadian intelligence leaders up at night. Foreign entities acting covertly to influence and subvert Canadian democracy. Global News has learned that those very things...
Oh, are we talking about the United States? Are we talking about Israel? Are we talking about Saudi Arabia? Oh, no, actually. No, their interference in our democracy is okay. Our whole democracy is just like taking our cue cards from the United States State Department and saying, thank you, sir. Thank you. We don't want to talk about that, though, right? We don't want to talk about the United States influencing our political system, surely. Yeah, or Israel, of course, where Justin Trudeau has famously come out against BDS. Or Ukraine. Their interference in our democracy is good, actually, right?
Have already been happening here, with sources telling us that Beijing is pulling the strings.
Who are these sources? Again, this is our beautiful Canadian journalistic establishment, our media establishment. They get their little sources in the CSIS or whatever, or the RCMP or whoever it is, and they just say, write this in your newspaper, please. And they say, yes, sir. Is there anything else you'd like me to write about in your newspaper, sir? And they said, no, just this is good for now, actually. Was there any investigation into like whether any of this was true whatsoever? No, because their sources in the Canadian intelligence community or the security establishment just told them that's what it was. And the media says, okay, boop, 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 boop. Here's your story. Here's your little news hit.
Sources tell Global News that in January of 2022, Canadian intelligence delivered a series of sensitive briefings to warn the Prime Minister and select members of his cabinet.
That's a great face they used. That face when Xi Jinping humiliates me and asserts his dominance over me on a global stage.
Some leftist based in Canada. I was turned on to this sick individual, and I found this.
Graham, thank you for the raid. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Get in here, raiders. Hello. Look at this guy.
You can count on me.
That face when you get raided.
Rob to talk you through all this.
Welcome, raiders.
Fellow
Hello.
Patriots LFG, our president is back, woo, but he sadly looks washed up like Westbrick, but I ain't worried about that bum Ron DeCramptis at Robruso.
Thank you, Coal Mine. Very much appreciated for the 22 months tier 1. Thank you, Coal Mine. One of the official Zoomers of the program and a serious journalist as well. I appreciate that, Coal Mine. Ron DeCramptis is nice. That's good. I'm Rob, by the way, everyone. Thanks for joining the stream. we're just making fun of Justin Trudeau, who just got publicly humiliated and owned by my president and yours, President Xi Jinping. And we're just laughing at that. And he made this face right after. He made this face. If you can, smash the follow button. Smash that follow button, folks. I'm very close to 8,000 followers. I'm very close. A few follow button smashers could put me over the top in the 8K. 8K followers here on Twitch. So we're just we're watching this clip about how China apparently is very concerned with the democratic process in Canada. It really matters to China who is like elected in the Canadian government. So they're interfering in our elections apparently. The Canadian intelligence community has come out and said they're interfering in our elections. And I was just talking about how certain countries interfere in our elections, like the United States, who's like, we basically just tell us what our foreign policy is going to be, and we just do whatever they say. Israel interferes in our democracy. Saudi Arabia literally threatened to do 9/11 to us when we were like, hey, maybe you can treat these political prisoners a little bit better. And Saudi Arabia was like, do not talk to us. We'll do 9/11 to you. And we're like, okay, sorry about that. And then we made them armored trucks, which they could use to carry out their own genocidal war in Yemen. So we're very concerned about who's interfering in our electoral process. But certain countries are allowed to, and it's okay, and it's cool. And certain countries, it's very scary, very alarming. And our independent, free press, of course, that we love to lecture other countries about, doing this little news hit because they got their sources in the Canadian intelligence community telling them we got Chinese subversion, subversive Chinese agents are interfering in our democracy, and our loyal stenographers, security state stenographers there in the Canadian media establishment are dutifully typing up their little stories and doing their little news hits on this.
That the spy agency had evidence China was running sophisticated operations, including allegations of placing Chinese agents into the offices of sitting members of parliament and funding a secret network of candidates who ran in the 2019 general election.
Oh shit. So just first and foremost though, I should really make sure I articulate this, that I don't think this is true. I don't think they are doing any of this, but big caveat there. Big asterisk, if they are doing it, I think that it's cool and I support it. Just so my opinion on this is totally clear. I don't think it is true, but if it were true, I agree with it and I think they should be doing it more. And I'd like to know who these candidates are so I could support them as well.
At least 11 candidates in total. Global news sources said the network includes members of both the Liberal and
don't look at
Conservative
APAC donations,
parties,
definitely.
some with witting ties to the Chinese Communist Party. According to sources, the funding, about $250,000, was allegedly transferred via an intermediary into the alleged network and was then transferred to a Canadian politician, an unnamed...
Hi, can I dono? Of course you can. I would be happy for people to... Do you mean donate to me or donate to the Communist Party of China? I need it more than they do, I think. I think they're doing pretty well. But yes, of course you can.
Member of Ontario's provincial legislature, as well as an
$250,000.
election staffer. Sources
Yeah.
told Global News Canada is now being targeted more than other countries, and there is concern about how that could affect our democracy and our...
And some with witting ties. Like, are we not allowed? Like, again, there's other countries where you can say,
You
like,
can count on
I
me.
support
You're gonna
this
have good
country.
old Rob to talk you through all this.
Right? It's, it's kind of people pick and choose which countries we're allowed to be like open proponents of, who we're allowed to have ties with. We're allowed to have ties with, again, with Israel, with Saudi Arabia. No problem there. Little Eichmanns on Global News. Absolutely. Thank you, Dimitri. Thank you so much for the 2 gifted subs. Very kind of you, sir. Thank you.
our international reputation.
This is a wrong message that we are sending to the world. Not just to the Chinese, but also to our allies, that we are not reliable, that we are not trustworthy.
Sources repeatedly stressed to Global News how serious these revelations are CSIS told Global News it could not answer some of our questions for this story, but did confirm China's interference, saying in an unusually direct statement, the Chinese Communist Party is using all elements of state power to carry out activities that are a direct threat to our national security and sovereignty.
Okay,
Sources
again,
tell
I'm talking
Global News
about our compliant security state stenographers in the Canadian media establishment. And like, oh, they're talking about their sources, which I said were just probably someone from CSIS. And now here they are in this piece, literally just writing out, like what I described, literally just writing out, here's what CSIS told us about this. Here's what CSIS told us. Here's what they're saying. Again, is there any investigation? Like if you were a fucking journalist, the idea of when you're a journalist and you're supposed to speak truth to power and all that kind of stuff, is there any effort whatsoever going on to verify whether any of this bullshit is actually true in any way? No, of course not. Our sources told us it was true, and our sources are in CSIS in the first place, and literally CSIS, this is their official statement that we typed it up. They sent it to us and we just typed it up. Fucking amazing. Like, it's just beyond parody. Like, I try to explain how obvious this scam is in our cherished free democratic free press. I've tried to articulate how much of a scam it is, and it's like they come out and just do this. They come out and spell it out for everyone.
And sovereignty. Sources tell Global News the briefs also discussed Operation Fox Hunt, a program intended to forcefully repatriate Chinese citizens wanted by the regime. The RCMP has said it's investigating 3 so-called Chinese police stations in Toronto, seen here. Community members worry about the regime's reach in Canada, clamping down on rivals and dissidents.
Yeah, the same thing with journalists in Poland. And to point, so we're talking about how, like, first of all, certain other countries are, allowed to interfere in our electoral process, interfere in our democracy, namely Israel, Saudi Arabia, but there's others, obviously, like that are part of this rules-based international order. If you're in that club, then you're kind of allowed to participate. You're allowed to interfere in democracy. You're allowed to have, fun think tanks, fun journalistic outlets, push these kinds of narratives, interfere in democracy, whatever, you're allowed to. And there's other countries that when they do, it's very scary. It's very scary. Ooh, oh no, they put money into these candidates that promote their values. Oh my goodness. But that says nothing of that says nothing as well, though, of the ways that we in Canada and in the United States constantly do this in other countries as well. Interfere in other countries. Like, what was the fucking Canadian government doing? Has the Canadian government interfered in democracy, say, in Africa, for example? Have we done that? Have we just allowed African democracy to just flourish without our influence? Have we allowed Latin American democracy to just flourish without our influence? Yeah, ask Duncan Kinney about our press freedom that we have here. Seriously. So not only do we do this, not only do we allow certain countries to interfere in our democracy, and not only do we not complain, we say fuck it, we thank them for it by sending them weapons to carry out genocide with. But then we also do the exact same thing around the world, in Ukraine and elsewhere, in Africa, in Latin America, to advance our own interests. And the moment one of these countries stands up for itself, we go, "Ooh, how dare you? You're being so mean. How dare you?" Like, as I mentioned before, when the last time this came up with Chrystia Freeland, when she was lecturing that African man about fighting for democracy, right? Canada was deeply implicated in the assassination of Patrice Lumumba. Not putting some resources into promoting political candidates, literally carrying out assassinations of popular revolutionary anti-colonial leaders, literally murdering them. And not paying a little bit of money towards funding some kind of think tank or funding some kind of political candidate to advance your interests. And then we complain about this. I'm happy that President Xi talked to Justin Trudeau like that and embarrassed and humiliated him on a global stage. It's about fucking time.
Vulnerable. So that's why I would like to repeat
Canadian Friends of Hong Kong. I wonder how much CIA money they're getting.
Other community leaders that we need a foreign agents registration.
The Trudeau government has been warned about
Canadian
vulnerabilities that have
Friends of
left
Hong
Canada
Kong. Sounds
exposed
perfectly
for
legitimate.
years. On Monday, the Prime Minister says he takes the threat seriously.
The world is changing, and sometimes in quite scary ways. And we need to make sure
Scary
that
for
those
who?
who are tasked with keeping us safe every single day are able to do
If people
that.
like Justin Trudeau thinks it's scary, that's just a good sign that it's positive.
To get tough.
There certainly needs to be some signs that
Dan Stanton, former CSIS intelligence officer,
and not just come out.
Are you going to interview, like, again, in this journalism, we love hearing from both sides, right? Are you going to just listen to like intelligence community backed groups of like reactionary expats and CSIS intelligence officers? Are you going to talk to anyone from the Chinese government about this? Any Chinese nationals about this? Maybe to have some kind of balance? It's literally, here's a guy from CSIS to see what he has to say. Like, this is a fucking joke.
Out with warnings every now and then because I think people are getting tired of it.
And sources also
Who?
say that
Who
Canadian
is?
MPs who voted to declare the abuse of the Uyghur population in China a genocide have been actively targeted in their ridings. One of so many concerns about China's efforts
And they're correct to do so.
influence elections
Be
here in
targeted,
Canada.
anyways.
Donna?
They should be targeted. That was fucking preposterous. Amazing. Absolutely amazing stuff. Oh no, they were targeted. Ooh. They're calling out our lies. No. They're not allowed to do that. We're allowed to say whatever we want. What is this? Where is this when they're standing up for themselves? That's not cool. This is what it is. I mean, if you think about like the schoolyard bully, the classic tale of the schoolyard bully, folks. What happens when the kid that gets picked on all day finally stands up for himself? That's what we're seeing over the last 10 years. And the bully says, no. That's Canada. That's the United States. When they finally stand up for themselves. Not like that. You're hurting me. That's what's happening. That's what's happening on a global stage. They're actually they can stand up for themselves now. Because they no longer need to. My mom says it's my turn for world hegemony. Stop. You know, they don't have to pretend to be a compliant little third world, proto-capitalist paradise. They don't need to pretend to be that anymore. You know, no, actually, we're taking your money, we're taking your manufacturing industry, and we're using that to build socialism now. Not just in China, but we're using it to become, a global leader, developing all these global South countries that you've been dominating and exploiting for centuries. And we say, no. That's what we're doing. That is what we're doing. And like I've talked about before, you can't do that. Stop. Like I've said before too, folks, like we talk about our precious media establishment and our precious free press and our precious freedom of speech. Have you seen one article, and I'm genuinely asking, have you seen one article anywhere in Canadian media or one news hit on global news of anyone just outlining the opinion, not only is China like not a scary country, not only do I think that they're not this horrible human rights abusing, backwards authoritarian dictatorship, but I think it's a country that we should be making further increased ties with forming more of a partnership with. Maybe it's a country that we can learn something from. Maybe we can actually look at this country and the amazing historic level of development that this country has created over the last 20, 30 years and actually learn something from that. How about that? Is there one person in our media that's asking this question? right? There's not even someone saying like, no, I don't think that they're doing all this bad stuff that we're accusing of. There's certainly no one saying like, yeah, this is a country, this like, burgeoning global superpower. Perhaps we should not just be constantly antagonizing them. What is that? Well, that's crazy. That crazy radical opinion. That's nowhere, you can be found nowhere in our free speech paradise, our free press paradise, this radical opinion of like, maybe we shouldn't be constantly deliberately antagonizing this country. That's going to be the global superpower of the next century, while our decaying, pathetic empire just continues to swirl the drain. Right? There is no one saying this, not one person. But we still lecture them about press freedom, don't we? And we don't, not just China, but we lecture Cuba. We lecture Venezuela. We lecture Nicaragua. We lecture Iran. We lecture Russia about their press freedom, right? Where there's literally not one person in our media establishment doing this. And this is what I'm saying, Sam. Anti-China socialists are so short-sighted. Imagine in 50 years, the CPC is the most important and influential government in the world, which is what's happening, by the way. Like that's like the fucking, as sure as the law of gravity. Unless the psycho Western imperialists are able to prevent that outcome through pure violence and by just destroying everything themselves so no one can have it, that's where we're going. And socialism with Chinese characteristics is proven as a superior system, and socialism becomes overwhelmingly popular around the world. It's probably our best chance at actually changing the course of our planet. No, instead, let's just deliberately antagonize them repeatedly. How about that? Is that better? Why don't we do that instead? That's a great fucking plan. We've really thought this through. We've really thought all of this shit through. I talked about doing that a couple months ago, and I think I'm going to try. I remember I talked about it like a while back, pitching something to like Globe and Mail or National Post or whoever. Literally just an opinion piece saying like, I think we should cooperate with China. I think we should try and learn something from China. I don't think China is this scary authoritarian dictatorship. Literally just an opinion piece that says this basic thing. And to say like, listen, I've got a bigger media, you talk about Twitter and anyways, I've got a bigger platform than most journalists in this country. Do we have free speech or don't we in this country? Do we have a free press or don't we? Do we have a free exchange of ideas? Do we have a precious marketplace of ideas or do we not? You write that piece, you don't have to agree with it. You don't have to agree with it. That's still a valid opinion. I've got a big platform. People would read the piece. It would be controversial. It would get clicks. Do we have free speech or don't we? I'm really interested in trying to like check into that and really like checking this. What's that Parenti quote? Pure socialists don't like the revolutions that actually worked. Of course, yeah. They support every revolution except the ones that work. Or to talk about the Parentiism when it comes to the media establishment, they let you say, we love to lecture people about our free press, right? Well, the people that do that, they let you say what you like because they like what you say, don't they? I think I'm going to try and do this. I really do. I'm going to try and pitch this to someone. Let me write this piece. This is an iconic image. I'm sorry, but I love this. Or the Chomsky version as well. If you believe something different, you wouldn't be sitting here. Exactly. Rob Rousseau, the man that single-handedly brought BRI to Canada. I don't have any delusions of grandeur that that's going to happen. But like, why can't we? Why is this an unacceptable opinion? That's my question. I have no illusions that our elites in the media establishment, in the political establishment, even our brainwashed citizens are going to want to have nothing to do with that, right? But why can't there be someone to say like, why not? Why can't we do this? Shouldn't we have that? Shouldn't we have someone even asking this question? I think we should. I really think we should. That was very funny with the Curb Your Enthusiasm theme as well. Let's see. I think I have something else on this. Let me see. Oh, I think I might have looked at all my China stuff. I mean, this could be a thing to close out this conversation on. You know, I try to remind people. I guess maybe sometimes we have lurkers or people that are not used to this, they're not on the stream often. But to talk about why the pivot to China, why are we so obsessed with China as this geopolitical enemy? Why can we not have any cooperation? Why this constant antagonism? Why the constant provocation? And this is the reason. And if people have become so deluded as to think that like that our elites in Canada or whoever or wherever else in America actually give a fuck about human rights, and that their disagreements about China, it has anything to do with people's human rights in Hong Kong or Xinjiang or Tibet or wherever, you really have to just grow up. If you really think that, people in our country, like the elites, the people that make these decisions and the government, give a fuck about people's human rights, this is the reason. This is the only reason. Okay? It's as simple as this. And if you've become one of these anti-China people, you've fallen for a fucking scam. I'm sorry to say. And that scam has nothing to do with anyone's human rights. It has nothing to do with authoritarianism, whatever that is. We live in a fucking authoritarian country that's owned and operated by a couple of mining companies and a powerful fucking grocery store. How's that for authoritarian? That's literally the boss of this country. Our whole political system is just a fucking facade to allow the relentless resource extraction to continue, along with the grocery store monopolies and the telecom monopolies. That's our whole government in our beautiful Western liberal democracy. But if you think anything to do with this new Cold War with China has anything to do with authoritarianism or human rights, it's just preposterous. This is all it is. This is the two set of maps. Countries whose main trading partner is the US or China. 2000 versus 2020. That's what it is. That's what the new Cold War is about. And this is it. It doesn't have to be more complicated than that. Shout out to Greenland. Hell yeah. Absolutely. I mean, it's amazing, even like Indonesia, you know, while the global leaders are meeting in Indonesia is an amazing example too, because even with the decades of interference, you know, if you've read the Jakarta method, you know, the United States sponsored a fucking brutal military coup, a fucking brutal, violent dictatorship, purging and killing millions of people. At least 1 million people, 1 million leftists in Indonesia, to create the conditions so they could be a compliant, developing world haven for like neoliberal capitalism. Even with all that interference, Indonesia is still going into the China camp, even today. Even India, you know? Even countries that have been relentlessly, ruthlessly interfered with for decades to ensure that they're compliant little allies in our global hegemony. Even these countries are going into the China camp. We blew it. We lost. We blew it, folks. There's no coming back from this. There's no situation. Literally, it will never happen. It's not and will never happen where the United States, or by Canada, by extension, becomes again the global leader in manufacturing. It's gone. Those days are gone. Finished. It's over. Wrap it up. It's done. And the only way that would happen is if all labor regulations in America were completely destroyed, which I wouldn't take off the table. The Canadian government effectively banned state-owned enterprises from investing in mineral extraction, already forcing 3 CCP-affiliated companies to divest. They're terrified of a socialist state winning. Well, that's the thing. That might be a setback for them, but it's like they're winning everywhere else. They're winning in Latin America and they're winning in Africa. So it's like we can cut China off from having access to our resources, but it's like they got plenty access to resources through the Belt and Road. Yeah, what do you know? Being a dick to everyone for decades, actually, centuries, actually, makes everyone want to go with literally anyone else. And China's been a victim of that, right? China was humiliated by Western imperialism as well, was destroyed and subjugated and humiliated, and they remember that. They got long memories, and they should. So do people in Africa. So do people in Latin America. In Russia, yes. Absolutely. And we wonder why these countries don't like us. Oh, golly gee whiz. Why does Russia hate our values so much? I wonder. Why is China doing this? It must be because they're just like evil. It must be because they're just like evil, brainwashed automatons. That must be why. They know. Exactly. They know making allies with all the countries the capitalists have bullied means they gain a numerical, territorial, and economic advantage over Western hegemony. Yes, they do, don't they? Yes, they do. Yeah, it's like when they asked Mandela why he supports Cuba. They supported our struggles, so they're cool. U.S. does not support other countries' struggles unless it benefits them. Yeah. Yeah. And any idea that they might support any kind of like struggle like in against colonialism or like in the past, famously Ho Chi Minh reached out to America. Ho Chi Minh wanted America's support. Ho Chi Minh was like, America should support Vietnam's war against the French. We're trying to be just like America, overthrowing these colonial masters. And then we were like, no, actually not like that. Actually, we don't want you to do it like that. We're going to go commit genocide in your country now, actually. Instead, how about that? So I think that throughout that period, in Korea, in Vietnam, in Indonesia, and throughout the Cold War, the developing world got the message about America's values and Canadian values and what they are. And whether they're going to support their struggle for independence and their autonomy and all that stuff. I think the Global South got the message over that period. The message was received loud and clear. Every single socialist country has sought friendly terms with the U.S., but nothing that doesn't serve U.S. capital interests is accepted by the U.S. Famously, the Soviet Union, right, Grom? Like, as much as the Soviet Union was constantly demonized in American media and American intelligentsia, and academia. If you look in the actual history books, it's this constant extending of a hand in friendship, being like, please, let's not antagonize each other anymore. Please. Let's have global cooperation, just as China is saying right now. Just as they're saying right now, please, let's have global cooperation. And we slapped the hand away and spat in their face every single fucking time. And then we convince our citizens, our gullible, brainwashed citizens, that it was in fact the Soviet Union, which were the belligerent, evil authoritarians all along. Why does China keep doing this? It's just a mystery. It's just an absolute mystery. The real founding fathers are Lenin, Mao, Kim Il-sung, and Ho Chi Minh. Those are good ones. Yeah. It's like Stalin was actually good and cool. I mean, I would never agree with that radical stance. Right? I would never agree with that radical belief. I'm just reading it from the chat. But I do think the history, we should take a second look about what was actually going on and maybe start to question some of these myths that we've been taught. Of course, obviously, none of us are Stalinists, obviously, but, we should maybe still acknowledge certain things, certain untrue things that we were taught. And that's all I'm saying. This is a good way to get into something else that I wanted to look at.
This is some guy, Rob Russo, some leftist based in
goodness
Canada.
gracious.
I
Hello.
was turned on to this sick individual, and I found this.
Hello, Majority Report. Thanks for the raid. Very much appreciated. Thank you, Majority Report. How's it going? Nothing weird going on here. Don't worry about what's going on here. All right. The point is that I'm just a normal dude over here, normal chat, normal stream. And that's all you need to know. Welcome, Majority Report. I hope the stream was great today. Even though I know Sam Sater has been on a serious tanky arc. Tanky Sam Sater. You hate to see it. Doing all kinds of Russian propaganda on the Majority Report. You hate to see that. Very unfortunate stuff. When you see Sam Sater carrying on with that kind of disinformatia, Russian propaganda, that kind of stuff. But hopefully, even some of the tankies in the Majority Report chat will still find a place here, all right? De-escalation is not allowed. No, it's not. No. That's the pro-Russian viewpoint. Only nuclear annihilation. That's the only thing we can have, okay? That's the nuanced liberal view. That's the nuanced liberal view. So welcome to the stream. By the way, folks, I'm so close to 8,000 followers here on Twitch. I'm so close. So if you can, smash the follow button. Smash the follow button, please. Get me to the 8K mark. I'm almost there. And if you can, you know what? If you can, subscribe to this channel. Right? Going almost 2 hours here. Haven't really done any pitches for people to actually subscribe. But please, subscribe to this channel. It costs $5 per month, or it's free. If you got Prime, it's free. If you got Amazon Prime, it's free of charge. You can gift subs as well. You can donate. All of this is very, very helpful. It helps keep the stream on the air. It helps support the content that I do on here. The very mild political commentary that I do. Non-controversial. We were just talking today about, I don't know if there's going to be a shirt off stream. I don't know about that. It is the season premiere. It's the TRRS season 3 premiere. That is true. That's very true. Go in goblin mode at 8K. Absolutely. Yes, and that's why I ask your best pal Xi Jinping for the money. I would love to get those G-bucks. I'd be happy to.
You can count on me. You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
I'd be happy to. Thank you, Sam, for the gifted sub. Thank you very much. Hot tub stream. Maybe one of these days. I think that's more of a 10K thing. I think that's more of a 10K. Frankly. No, the main thing that we were talking about today was just talking about the
You've just become an elite member of the Friendship Triangle.
Oh my goodness. G Cluppy, thank you very, very much for the 5 gifted subs. Thank you so much, G Cluppy. And thank you as well, G Cluppy, for your kind comments about my single that I released. I was very anxious about doing that, and I really appreciated your comments about my music. It genuinely did mean a lot to me. So thank you, G Cluppy, and thank you for all the support and for being a part of this community.
You've just become an elite member of the Friendship Triangle.
Oh my goodness. Squatch Drew as well. Thank you, Squatch. Happy season 3. Hell yeah. Squatch Drew, thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs. Thank you. And for all the support, Squatch Drew, very much appreciated.
You can count on me. You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
And thank you, John. Thank you, John McCain's Ghost, for the gifted tier 1 sub as well, and for everything you do for the community, John. Thank you. And now we got a hype train close, folks. I mean, this is always the tricky part, right? Like, but this is the season premiere. we could just get all this, we could do this whole sub pitch thing, get that
We
out of the
simply
way.
use the computer to mark up the size of the account.
You get to the sub goal and then we can just move on. And I don't even need to mention it again. Thank you, Soul Spankard, as well, for the 100 friend coin. Thank you for changing the numbers in my computer. It is the season. I think we're there, Doc. Yeah, I think it's the season premiere. I'm thinking it's the season premiere. I think it's the season premiere. You know, I tried to do the season premiere on Friday. I famously did a mulligan. What denotes a season change? It's more of like, it's kind of, as we're learning, it's kind of a mindset. Really,
you
it's
can count
like,
on me. You're gonna have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
Really, it's a timing thing, right? This iteration of the show started on the election, like the Donald Trump, Joe Biden election. So 1 year later, it was season 2.
You can count on me. You're gonna have good old
Now
Rob
there's the
to
midterms.
talk you through
Now
all
it's season
this.
3. It's more of a vibes-based system. That's true. Thanks, Carrier Wave, for the gifted sub, and thanks, Chaos the Gardener, for the gifted sub as well. Thank you. Okay, listen. So, for old time's sake, this will bring back a classic bit. Bring back a classic bit from the history of this show. Okay, while this hype train's going on, we talked about. I did all my ranting about President Xi in China. Okay, I was going to try and raise a few more subs. And then we can talk about Trump. We can talk about the Orange Man. I haven't even looked at his announcement. I haven't looked at one clip of it. So I got a whole bunch of clips to look at after that. Okay? But before we get there, I'm going to go ahead and put on some good old music. Some good old MIDI music. And I'm going to try and encourage people to support this channel. Okay? We're bringing this back. Let's see if we can get to the goal.
You can count on me. You're gonna have good old Rob to talk you through all this. Kind of a workout. So isn't this the kind of content that you want to see, folks? Nowhere else on Twitch can you get this kind of content. Nowhere else. Literally just here. I was ranting about supporting China for like an hour, and now I'm doing this. This kind of experience is not available elsewhere on this platform. Okay? Is that worth a $5 measly dollars? You're gonna have good old Rob to talk you through all this. You can count on me. You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
That's a good one, King Uento. I'll make sure to say thank you to everyone after this, by the way. The Rob drums GIF, like the animated emote, actually syncs up perfectly to this track, because famously I did it listening to this track. Easy Lover's one of my favorite songs of all time. So remember, folks, if you do subscribe, if you're watching this and you're not convinced, but I don't understand, frankly, wouldn't get that personally. I don't understand not being convinced. But if you do subscribe, you get into the base level of the friendship triangle system, right? If you don't subscribe, you're unfortunately one of these sad, poor saps on the outside here, the non-subscribers. Subscribe to the channel for $5, completely free with Amazon Prime. You can gift subs, moving up and down the friendship triangle system, the patented friendship access and clout distribution system. Gift subs to move up and down the two-dimensional triangle over here into the chaos zone. Donate over 5 subs, you get into that elite level. The elite level of the friendship triangle system, where the patented trickle-down clout is more potent. You have more access to that clout up there in the elite level for 5 sub gifters and more. This is a life-changing investment opportunity. It's two-dimensional. There's a lot of instability right now in our financial markets, in our crypto markets. We got Tether collapsing. We got FTX collapsing. What next? What's going to happen next? How is this going to affect the rest of our financial markets? There's no stability. Well, I'll tell you about a stable investment. It's called investing in the TRRS Friendship Triangle System. If you want a return on investment, that trickle-down clout, that's guaranteed. That is guaranteed. Right? Anyone in this community can attest to the fact that this works. I've never seen a triangle collapse. It's the most stable shape. It's the most stable shape in all of geometry. Everyone knows this is common knowledge. You're making bridges. What do you put in there? Squares? No.
You can count on me. No. And have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
Matt Damon will call you a coward if you don't sub.
Exactly. Why are the pyramids of Giza still? Well, those are three-dimensional, though, so that's a little bit trickier, actually. That's a little bit trickier. Because this is, of course, when you're comparing the friendship triangle system to a three-dimensional pyramid shape, that's kind of problematic. We want to keep those on the D-low. Alright? It's because it's clearly not a pyramid. We all have established this. We've established this. That it isn't. Thank you, Alana, for the 3 gifted subs. Thank you very, very much, Alana. Thank you, Proletariat, for the 96 friend coin. Thank you, my dear sweet Weenus of lore. Thank you, Weenus, for the gifted sub. Thank you, Toilet Bowl Toots, for the 16 months resub at tier 1. Thank you to John McCain's Ghost for another gifted sub. Thank you, John. Very much appreciated. Thank you. Thank you, Irate Lump, for the 23 months resub at tier 1. Very close to the 24-month sub badge. Highly exclusive Irate Lump. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Andy Streeman still looking for a sub. Andy Streeman wants to be part of this community. And one generous chatter could bring someone in. And we're all feeling disconnected. We're all feeling isolated. I know the hype train's over, but that doesn't mean the hype has to stop. Don't give me one, okay? He doesn't want one. Never mind. No one give him one. No one give Andy Streamin' a sub.
You can count on me. You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
Gimme clout now.
Thank you, iFlies, for the 5 months of Prime.
You can count on me. You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
And thank you, Toilet Bowl Toots, as well, for the gifted sub. I hope Andy's all right. If you really don't want to be part of the community, it's okay. I can ban you if you really want. The friendship triangle works so well, it was famously adopted by Deng to reform the Chinese economy. Look at them now. They're fucking killing it. Right? marvelous. And right, we're all feeling isolated. We're all feeling alienated from one another. We don't have community. We're all lacking friendship. I don't know about this Andy Streaman character. I'm a little leery here about the intention of this Andy Streaman, frankly. You're on notice, sir. You're on notice, Andy Streaman, if that is your real name. Trying to convince Damian Lillard to join the friendship triangle. He isn't returning my calls, though. That would be a good one. That would be a good one. He's got a lot going on right now, though. Okay, I'm about ready to move on to this Trump stuff.
This is some guy, Rob Russo, some leftist based in Canada. I was turned on to this sick individual, and I found this.
Dan Simpson, thank you for the raid. Thank you, Dan. Thank you. I appreciate that, Dan. Hello, Raiders. If you went, you got a few precious moments. And by the way, everyone subscribe to Dan's channel, first of all. Follow Dan Simpson. Please. We love Dan Simpson, don't we, folks? One of our greatest streamers. One of the very best. Thank you very much for the raid, Dan. Yeah, you kind of came in party mode here. We're just about to move on now. We're about to move on. Dan, how was your stream today? How was the Dan Simpson stream? You think Dan doesn't have killers? Okay, that was great. Okay. That was good stuff. One of the classic TRRS hype trains. We demolished Empire's narratives. Good. We've been doing that as well over here. More base streamers. Yeah. And everyone, please smash the follow button. Please smash it. Getting close to 8K. How has the kid been? He's better now. He's doing better. You could tell his energy came back last night, and he was talking so much because he had like a deficit of energy for the last 2 days because he had been kind of like sick and lethargic. So he had like a deficit of pent up energy, and last night he was getting it all out. That's when I knew he was going to be okay. Andy, it's been a pleasure. Sorry, I'm making an executive decision here. Goodbye. Sorry. I don't think that Andy Streaman was who he said he was. I didn't trust this man's intentions. Blew too close to the sun. Okay. Anyway, let's get to this Trump stuff. I have not looked at one of these. I have not looked at one of these clips, these Trump clips. Here's the big moment. Here's the big moment. I have not watched any of this stuff. That's called a kill steal. Sorry. Sometimes I got to make an executive decision. Sometimes I like to see the lights go in their eyes. So I've not watched any of this. I know there's longer context and people are saying it was very low energy. Here's the actual announcement though. I have not seen this yet. Here we go.
I am tonight announcing my candidacy for President of the United States. I am tonight announcing my candidacy for President of the United States.
Oh shit. Oh shit. It was low energy. Has anyone like Sleepy Don? That's right. He's not on the presidential drugs. It doesn't seem like, from what I understand, from what I've seen, it just doesn't seem like his heart is in it to the same extent. You know, I'm sure he's going to work his way back up. I see people writing him off already. I guess part of it as well is that like they thought the midterms was going to be this big red wave and all these big Trump candidates were going to like do really well. And that's not at all what happened. So it's like he kind of got owned a little bit and he's kind of trying to distance himself from that now. And he thought he was going to make this big announcement after this big wave, this big red wave. And now it's just like, now it kind of, the red wave was like nothing at all. Biden kind of, the Dems kind of easily handled the red wave, even though they lost control of the House by like a few seats, it looks like. So it's kind of a weird situation where he's declaring he thought he was going to have this big thing of momentum that just didn't really materialize. I don't want to count it out though. Like, you know, I see people already counting him out. That's the thing. And I don't think that's a good idea. People are saying he's just doing it to avoid legal trouble. He's going to get caught up in the courts. He doesn't have the energy. It's going to be DeSantis or whatever. I am not comfortable counting this man out. You know? Until he's actually gone. Until he's actually gone. I'm not going to count him out. We all did that in 2015, 2016. You know? We all counted him out, and it was very, very funny until it wasn't funny, you know? So I think it would be ludicrous now to be like, now for sure there's no way he's going to win. Like I'm not going down that road. I think I'm just going to assume he is going to win in 2024 until that moment doesn't materialize. Yeah, and this is the thing, Darlek, like the grassroots Republicans still give him massive support, could be that swings it. This is the kind of like thing that, the kind of funny thing about how like painted into a corner the conservative movement in America is now, where it's like, if Trump doesn't win, if he doesn't endorse DeSantis or whoever else, his base will rebel. They won't vote for him. They'll form some kind of splinter third party, you know, some extreme reactionary freedom party or whatever, and they'll vote for that. Like it kind of, for the Republicans, it kind of needs to be Trump. He's not going to fall in line with the conservative establishment if he loses, especially if he loses and gets embarrassed in the process. And his people won't get on board, you know, with the rhinos. And yeah, I know Trump is great content, but a lot of POC have to do with the increased racism. For sure, yeah, the normalization of the kind of like open racism and white nationalism, even though I feel like that's kind of out of the box already, and I don't even... Maybe Trump's going to contribute to that or not, but I mean, it's already happening every single night on Tucker Carlson on Fox News, you know? And do not underestimate the ability of the Democrats to fail spectacularly. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Recession is going to hit the U.S. hard. I reckon it'll play well in his favor. Yeah. I think it would be foolish to say like, oh, he's low energy. He doesn't have it, you know? It's not going to happen. Here's how like Nazi Nick Fuentes is reacting to this.
That was horrible. That is one of the worst things I've ever seen in my entire life. And I'm reevaluating my support for Trump 2024 after that. That was bad. That was probably worst case scenario. Worse than I was anticipating. I wasn't sure because the last couple rallies were good, but this was awful. It's hard to imagine how it could have been worse from beginning to end.
Poor guy.
Style and substance, the delivery, the content, the entire
You're
thing
still wearing
was
the hat like a fucking
abject,
schmuck.
Absolute failure and a disaster and a total disappointment.
Yeah, that's totally true. That's absolutely right, G. Kleppy. I don't trust that they're just going to pump him up again where he's 10% more energetic. Yeah, I would say that this is funny to see, but I would say absolutely that anyone that's going to be like, oh, this was low energy, his heart's not in it. He's going to give one rally where he's going to have the juice again, and people are going to be right back on board. The Nick Fuenteses of the world are going to be right back on board. I want to see more clips, though. Where's there more clips? Where's that fucking Aaron guy? Where's that dude? What's his name? What's the guy that just like his whole thing is... you know, the guy's whole thing is like just taking these speeches and just like putting them into clips. Aaron Rupar. Okay, there we go. So I knew it was something like that. This guy should have some stuff here. I want to see more of these clips. I want to see this low energy Trump. Here's what I was talking about. Let's look at the whole thread here.
Gentlemen, please welcome the next President and First Lady of the United States of America, President Donald J. Trump, accompanied by Mrs. Melania Trump.
And I'm proud to be an American, where at least
Gentlemen, please welcome the next.
Years ago, when I left office, the United States stood ready for its golden age. Our nation was at the pinnacle
Almost
of
like a
power,
Gilded Age,
prosperity,
even.
and
You might even
prestige,
describe it as that.
towering above all rivals, vanquishing all enemies, and striding into the future, confident and so strong. In 4 short years, everybody was doing great. Men, women, African Americans, Asian Americans, Hispanic Americans, everybody was thriving like
Could have been a
never
contender.
before.
Everyone was just thriving.
Of this, China played a very active role in the. Many people think that because of this, China played a very active role in the 2020 election. Just saying, just saying.
So you got the Canadian government saying that they're interfering on everyone. They're interfering in the Canadian elections. They're interfering in the American elections. They're all over the place.
Many people think that because of this, China played a very active role in the 2020 election. Just saying, just saying. Sure, that didn't happen. Many people think
It is low energy. That's absolutely true.
across the now open and fentanyl are flooding across the now open and totally porous southern border. The blood-soaked streets of our once great cities are cesspools of violent crimes, which are being watched all over the world as leadership of other countries explain that this is what America and democracy is really all about. How sad. The United States has been embarrassed, humiliated, and weakened for all to see.
See, his strength was never reading a speech like this, right? He's doing the greatest hits. His strength is in the ad-libbing, right? Is when he's riffing. That's when he's dangerous. When he's got the energy up, he's feeling good. He's got the crowd in the palm of his hand. He's doing the riffing, right? That's when he really like thrives. He's just reading some speech here and he's just bored, right? He just seems like he doesn't want to be there. And it's funny as well because like this is the rhetoric, this like the blood-drenched violent cities, the crime wave rhetoric. This failed spectacularly. This is how the conservative movement tried to campaign in this recent election cycle. Like this big crime wave narrative, which the media like across the bipartisan basis contributed to this crime wave narrative, and going all in on like culture war and transphobia and this kind of like gay panic stuff and trans panic. And this failed miserably to connect with people. So it's funny because now that, like I said, it's like he was waiting for this big victory from the conservative movement and from the right, which just didn't materialize. And now he's using that same kind of rhetoric, which just clearly fell flat. Maybe it worked in Florida. Maybe it worked in Florida with DeSantis. But it really failed everywhere else. Or irate lump saying in New York City. But of course, Democrats leaned into that, which is not surprising.
The Green New
But he's not doing the riffing though. That's where he thrives. That's when he's got the magic.
The Green New Deal and the environment, which they say may affect us in 300 years.
Which they say may affect us. I mean, I talked about this with Jordan on the podcast this week. It's like young people, like I don't want to say our because I'm not young. I'm middle-aged, you know, and I need to be honest with myself and with you about this. But like young people, the kind of young people that voted in this election, like it's their future that's at stake there. And this whole thing where like conservatives, whether it's Trump or whoever else, just pretends that nothing is happening. Like this is not going to be sustainable for them. All their aging, decaying, geriatric audience, they're all fading away. They all got COVID. They're all dying. They're going away. They're eventually going to have to at least acknowledge that climate change is an issue that's happening, right? This thing is not, if they want to appeal to young people beyond just the extremely online niche audience that people like Nick Fuentes represent, they're going to have to eventually start incorporating that into their fucking platform. This idea that they're pretending when we can all feel the effects of climate change here in the West and see it around the world, see as it's already happening. If Florida's literally going to sink and you're still just being like, no, this is not a problem, and they're still on this. And then this is just cutting Social Security. Yeah, it's very popular.
Is all that is talked about, and yet nuclear weapons, which would destroy the world immediately, are never even discussed as a major threat. Can you imagine?
And I actually agree with that.
The ocean will rise 1/8 of an inch over the next 200 to 300 years. But don't worry about nuclear weapons.
He's actually kind of making a point there. He's kind of spitting here, frankly. I'm sorry to say. But that is a problem. When you have liberals trying to say, like, I believe climate change exists. I believe in this, like, means-tested, carbon credit, electric vehicle, zero-emission vehicle future to get us out of this crisis. Meanwhile, I'm speed-running World War III. That's actually kind of a point. He's actually raising a good point there. I don't think people on the right are relatively honest messengers of this kind of rhetoric, but he's making a very real point that liberals need to be able to address. Maybe if you do care about the future of the planet, you should not be trying to speed run us towards nuclear annihilation at the same moment. The king of half-truths, right? He loves that. Yeah.
That can take out entire countries with one shot. Something is wrong. The Green New Deal and the environment, frankly, much of this blame is correct. But the citizens of our country have not yet realized the full extent and gravity of the pain our nation is going through, and the total effect of the suffering is just starting to take hold. They don't quite feel it yet, but they will very soon. I have no doubt that by 2024, it will sadly be much worse, and they will see much more clearly what happened and what is happening to our country.
And so, for shout out to whoever said how the recession is going to play really badly for Democrats, and will probably play into Trump's hands with this kind of rhetoric.
And the voting will be much different. 2024. Thing that's not discussed for the House. We must remember that Republicans won 5 million more votes, the largest margin in many, many years, over the Democrats. 5 million more votes.
This guy loves the popular vote.
In the popular vote, another thing
famous
that's
popular
not
vote
discussed
respected
for the House, we must remember that Republicans won 5 million more votes, the largest margin in many, many years, over the Democrats. 5 million more votes. That's a big thing. In the popular vote, another thing that's not discussed for the House, we must Congress, Nancy Pelosi, has been fired. Isn't that nice?
Very low energy still. I did not see the executing drug dealers thing, no.
I told them, I said, if you just keep a little bit lower standard, you're going to have a big victory. They said, let's win by 40 seats. Let's win by 50. I said, if you win by 2 seats, be happy.
I don't think you were saying that, Donald. I don't know if that's true. Now he's saying, I was the one saying, like, no, it's not going to be that big. I don't know if that's true, Donald. I think you were saying that it was going to be this big annihilation, I believe, something like that. I don't think you were the one preaching, everyone say, hey, slow down here. Slow down on some of this red wave stuff. I don't think Donald Trump was saying that whatsoever. I do not think he was saying that. If you win by 2 votes, be happy. I really need to work on the Trump. Famous for his close call nuance. Right, yeah. Always urging caution, that Donald Trump. Everyone else is out there with the hyperbole. And Donald Trump's always like, whoa, slow down. Slow your roll. Everyone knows this about him.
But she's on her way to another country right now. She's been fired. But we always have known that this was not the end. It was only the beginning of our fight to rescue the American dream. And it's a word you don't use. 2 words. I don't want to be Joe. It's 2 words, American dream. That was not good what he did. There are a lot of bad things, like going to Idaho and saying, welcome to the state of Florida. I really love it. In order to make America great and glorious again, I am tonight announcing my candidacy for President of the United States.
Low energy. Hey, Pam, how's it going?
Thank you, kids. Thank you. All of you. Thank you. Thank you.
Very low energy, folks. Very sad. He's not quite so energetic. Oh. I need to do it in front of a mirror or something.
Like never before. And then COVID started coming in from China. We call it the China virus.
Whose fault was that?
Some people call it other things. But
it's weird. It came in from China, but China, very few people have actually died from it. That's kind of interesting as well, isn't it? Right? The so-called China virus. Not a whole lot of Chinese people actually getting that and dying from it. Right? Not like our strong, tough Western countries, right? Where we're so tough, we just let pandemics rip through our population and sacrifice the weak and elderly and disabled and immunocompromised. That's how a real manly country does it, like America. Ugh, ugh, America.
And we love both sides. We're going to bring people together. We're going to unify people. And it was happening in the previous administration, previous to the previous. And what was bringing them together was success. Prior to COVID coming in, the people were calling me, you wouldn't believe it. People that were so far left, I figured they'd never speak to me and I would never speak to them. But our success was so incredible.
All kinds of people were doing
before.
this.
And then COVID started coming in.
Have you heard of Amy Therese, folks? She was so far left I thought she'd never speak to me. That's why I'm now appearing on the Red Scare podcast. You're right, he's talking about the MAGA communism. That's right. Yeah. That would be amazing if he made like Haas one of his his surrogates. I would support that. I think Haas, I'm not a big supporter of the guy's work, even though I have stuck my neck out for him when I feel like he's being unfairly targeted by these NGO-backed think tanks for his Russian disinformation. That I would support, though. That I would support. Starts talking with the land bridge. This guy, Jay Kinky, folks.
Folks, this man was brave enough to talk about the number of holes. Liberals, they don't want you to understand. Ladies and gentlemen, the liberals don't want you to understand the number of holes there are. Yep. I don't have the mental capacity to listen to 2 more years or maybe 6 years of Trump impressions, so you better fucking get comfortable. God, thank Sinner. You better sit down and get comfortable because I'm not stopping. Folks, no one's ever seen a land bridge quite like this one. It's that's the James Austin Johnson from SNL, and who also appeared on the Insurgents podcast. He really gets that. He gets this like weird breathing thing.
From China, we call it the China virus. Some people call it other things, and we love both sides. In 2020, I received the largest number of votes of any sitting president in history by a lot. And we will do it again, but with even more votes this time. Gains we have made with, many have noted that huge gains we have made with Latino voters, and I believe we will set even greater records with this crucial vote in 2024. The Hispanic voter, the Latino voter has been unbelievable.
That's very true.
Great people, very entrepreneurial people.
Big reactionary
and they
strain
want
in there.
security, and everyone thought when I did the wall, I built the wall, and they thought, oh, that would
community
hurt me with the Hispanic vote. No, it helped me because they understood. They wanted safety. They wanted security. And they understood the border better than anybody else. So they were amazed that we started that trend, and now we're continuing with that trend. You look at Reconstruction. I said, Reconstruction. I guess you call that the Civil War? That's what I call it. Since Reconstruction. I said, Reconstruction. I guess you call that the Civil War? That's what I call it.
I don't know if we do call it that, but okay.
Sees what a bad job has been done during this 2-year period, and it will be a 4-year period. Everybody sees that. It will be much easier for us to do what has to be done.
Low energy. Look at this.
And I was with President Xi, who's now president for life. I call him king. He said, no, I'm not the king. I said, yes, you are the king. You're president for life. It's the same thing.
And I agree. I agree with that. I call him that as well. Sometimes you do have to hand it to him.
Every policy.
Sometimes you do have to hand it to him, folks.
The socialist disaster known as the Green New Deal, which is destroying our country, and the many crippling regulations that
what is this Green New Deal? Where is this happening?
Will be immediately terminated so that our country can again breathe and grow and thrive like it should.
Where is this Green New Deal? So Biden just passed what they call like the most historic climate change legislation in the history of the U.S. government. Like, what's even in there? What is even in there? There's not public transit. There's not high-speed rail. There's subsidies for electric vehicles. Maybe a bit of an investment into like wind energy, and so like maybe what's even in that thing?
Breakdown of law and order. I will restore public safety in American cities and other communities that need our help. And if they don't want our help, we're going to insist that they take our help this time. Because, the Democrat governors, these are all Democrat cities. The governors and mayors are supposed to ask for the help, and they would never ask for the help. And yet people are being shot and killed at random like nobody's ever seen before.
Not true whatsoever, right? When you look at actual violent crime statistics, which have just gone down over the decades.
They like using knives. These are gang members that will kill, and they like using knives because a knife is more painful than a gun. You've read the stories. MS-13. These are savages. They say, oh, please don't use that name. They're people. No, they're not. These are savages. And these are gang members that will...
Folks, I don't know about you, but I would rather my daughter dated a member of MS-13 rather than a member of the Republican Party.
It took an animal to beat a woman. They were sex trafficking with a bat 28 times, indenting part of her body. And it took an animal to kidnap, drug, and rape a 14-year-old Houston girl. Frankly, I think that the term animal doesn't go far enough.
Sarah Sanders defending the president's use of the word animals when discussing MS-13 members. But one person who seems to have no problem with the gang is writer Rob Rousseau, who says he'd rather his daughter, which he does not actually have, dated an MS-13 member rather than a Republican. Joining us right now is someone who is all too familiar with the gangs, especially MS-13, Nassau County, Long Island Police Commissioner Patrick Ryder. Commissioner, when you saw that article, what did you think?
You want the best for your children, not the worst. MS-13's motto, kill, rape, control. That's what you want dating your daughter?
So again, just a few things here. Remember, just crucial context here.
Dated an MS-13 member rather than a Republican actually have. Dated an MS-13.
Crucial context here.
Person who seems to have no problem with the gang is writer Rob Rousseau, who says he'd rather his daughter, which he does not actually have.
Which he does not actually have. So what are we doing here, sir? What are we doing here? Which he does not actually have. Let's clear this up. Crucial context that I think changes this whole segment, really. Now you're doing this whole segment about my fucking daughter, which you've acknowledged does not exist. We made it up. It's a total fabrication. Let's debate the dating habits of this imaginary girl. This one was invented by a writer.
Commissioner Patrick Ryder. Commissioner, when you saw that article, what did you think?
You want the best for your children, not the worst. MS-13's motto, kill, rape, control. That's what you want dating your daughter?
Do not have a daughter.
Who are these people?
They're very violent
Do
people
not have
that
a daughter.
come to this country. They take up different methods of crime to support their efforts, but a lot of it has to do with violence and control.
They cut out body organs.
Body
and
organs.
leave it on top of the bodies. So when you say animals,
body
I
or
think
not
it's
just
accurate.
regular
Do you
organs,
think it's
folks.
accurate?
Body
I
organs.
have witnessed firsthand the violence that they have done. We recovered
They
6
love organs.
homicides last year that were done
Folks,
by
no one
MS-13
loves
in
organs
Nassau
more than
County.
these folks.
And those homicides are violent. They've hacked them with, knives and cut them
Machetes.
up in machetes and then buried them into holes that the family can't find them.
And you know what they're doing it to? They're not doing it. They're doing it in
Oh, fucking ridiculous. What a crazy weekend that was. It was like 4 fucking years ago. I don't know. Or longer. I don't even remember. I've witnessed firsthand. Rob just wants the worst for his fake daughter. Anyway, little trip down memory lane. It's season 3 premiere. It's like a clip show. It's like a little clip show. How did you feel when that came out? Honestly, like it had been a whole weekend of like thousands of people getting very mad, which was kind of funny at first, but like it got to be kind of stressful. You know, it was on Paul Joseph Watson talked about it on his Facebook page. It was on fucking the Daily Wire. I had thousands of people like in my mentions, like being like, I want to fucking kill you. I want to kill you for, I am, you saying Republicans support violence. I want to murder you. I'm going to murder your family. Literally saying that kind of shit to me. So eventually it got kind of tiring. And then this was like the Monday after a whole weekend of it. On Monday, they were like, no, we're going on Fox News. So I was kind of like, oh, fuck. I was kind of getting a little stressed out about it. But then I saw the article. Then I saw the article though. And the article made me feel so much better because it's so fucking funny. It is so funny. Like this is like nothing that I could ever do in like entertainment. No, they didn't invite me on, but I did give a statement to the story though. And nothing that I could ever do in my career, any kind of comedy or kind of content or anything, could ever even come close to being as funny as this article is. It's so good. There's just so many great, like, first of all, the picture right off the bat, like the picture of me and Momo, right off the bat, like funny. You know, nothing I could ever do could touch this. This guy, Brian Flood, like changed my whole life by doing this fucking article. Has a history of deliberately upsetting conservatives with inflammatory rhetoric. The attention-seeking Rousseau took advantage of the online outrage. There's so many great lines in this. This sort of Twitter trolling is nothing new for Rousseau, as he's bragged about mocking conservatives in the past. Back on March 12th, Rousseau penned a piece for Paste headlined Gun Control, how I managed to enrage and expose thousands of right-wing gun guys. He explained that falsely stating the AR and AR-15 stands for assault rifle enrages gun enthusiasts. It actually stands for Armalite rifle. I like to send rude or annoying replies to dumb right-wing reactionaries that I despise, Rousseau wrote. Rousseau, who now calls himself a gun expert and cool dad in his Twitter bio, declared that he's proud that he figured out what upsets conservatives. Since Rousseau's trolling tweet about MS-13 caught the attention of prominent conservatives, the flamboyant writer, believed to be from Montreal, like nothing, this guy could not have made me sound like cooler. Like if he was trying to, like I almost think like he was like, Brian was trying to help me out here. The flamboyant writer believed to be from Montreal. Like, he make me sound like the coolest guy. I'm like some kind of like man of mystery. The chuds are mad at me again, he wrote. And then it's like, this is the amazing thing. This is when I slipped in some actual like something for these people to chew on, right? And this actually made it into the article. I said people are melting down over this joke, which I guess was the point. But in all seriousness, your elected representatives pose a far greater threat to you and your family's security than an El Salvadorian prison gang that you'll never once in your boring life have to interact with. And then they go into more stuff about the horrors of MS-13, and then they gave me a chance to do a statement. Rousseau provided Fox News with the following statement. Said, it's interesting and more than a little silly to me that the very people who are so fond of claiming that liberals and leftists are constantly offended, sensitive snowflakes are now so worked up over a tweet, which was very obviously a joke, that it warrants national media coverage. You can be a free speech absolutist who is against political correctness, or you can be offended by my tweet, but you can't be both. They really gave me the last word on that one. Really unbelievable. Really, this is like, I could never do anything in my career to top this. I'll just put you a link in the chat if you ever want to read the article. It's so funny. Did you plug the Patreon? I should have. I should have included this. Fox platforming this sicko, this sick individual. So that's what I mean. I was a little bit stressed about the whole thing. You know, Fox News. I didn't know if Trump was going to tweet about me because like Trump watches Fox and Friends every fucking day. I thought I was going to get a Trump tweet. This Rob Rousseau, folks. This sick liberal writer. He loves MS-13. He wants to marry them. Can you believe this? I thought I was going to get one of those. But then I saw this article and I was just like, okay, this is just so funny. Like I can't be stressed anymore. He wants to give them little kisses, folks. Because of this story on Rob for months, I had Fox News contributor in his Twitter bio, and a bunch of people got angry about it. That's true, yeah. But you know, I couldn't be stressed anymore. As soon as I saw the headline with the picture of Momo, like, that's just so great. Did this writer have a sense of humor, or is this for clicks? I mean, the guy did reach out to me and was just like, I know you were just joking around. Like I think he knew that like the outrage over it was ridiculous. I think he's a conservative. He works for Fox News, but he's just like a normal journalist guy. He was like, I know that you were just joking around about this. That when he texted, that was kind of the tone he had when he texted me. And later on, I wrote him back and I was like, Brian, I think your whole media organization is fucking garbage, but you seem okay to me. You're all right by me here, Brian. Oh man, classic. Turns out this guy was a troll. I know, unbelievable. The journalism that they're teaching these guys over there. These gumshoe, shoe leather reporters. You never know. They can really unbury the truth, the hidden truth. Anyway, season 3, I guess it's a good time to look back at that. It's a central part of the Rob lore. The whole reason that I have a platform in the first place is because this happened. The red headline being written like a punchline alone. I know, it's just wonderful. Honestly, like I just love everything about it. It's so great. Anyway, let's watch a few more of these clips. I'm getting kind of tired. I'm getting low energy myself. I got to sign off soon. It's 3:30. How much more time do I have here? Another couple of minutes. So let's watch a few more of these clips, then I'm saying goodbye.
Kill, and they like using knives because a knife is more painful.
This
Then
guy
again,
Rob Rousseau
you've
is
read
a
the
sicko,
stories.
folks.
MS-13. These are savages. They say for death, carnage, and crime all over our country. Every drug dealer during his or her life on average will kill 500 people.
Does that include the Sacklers, or are we only talking about these low-level guys? Are those the ones that we're going to execute? Or are we going to execute like the pharma billionaires that are people that have actually genuinely been responsible for the opioid epidemic? Are they going to have any consequences whatsoever? No? Oh, just the low-level guys? Right. Okay, sure.
With the drugs they sell, not to mention the destruction of families.
You can count on me. You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
Thank you, GMO. Season 3 premiere has been a banger. I appreciate that, GMO Radio. Thank you. Thank you very much for the gifted sub.
But we're going to be asking everyone who sells drugs, gets caught selling drugs, to receive the death penalty for their heinous acts. Because...
What about the drug of good content? What about that? Huh?
It's the only way. We don't need any more blue ribbon committees. I don't like to say this, and I don't even know if the American public is ready for it. And a lot of my people say, please don't say that, sir. That's not nice. They kill 500 people each on average. And if you don't do this, in China, when I was with President Xi, I said, President, do you have a drug problem? No, we don't. He looked at me like I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah, straight up copying Duterte. That's right. And that's bringing out China's responsibility with this as well. Like, first of all, that's where the of course, science of dialectical and historical materialism has to enter the conversation as well. We understand why China treats drug use more seriously than maybe we do in our society, considering the ways that opioids have been used to destroy and dominate and subjugate China deliberately. I mean, the whole opium wars were the British Empire fighting a war to ensure that the opium trade would remain legal, deliberately making sure that China remained addicted to opium and opioids, to deliberately destroy them and subjugate them. And there's not correct me if I'm wrong, there's not low-level drug users that are being put to death in China, or even low-level dealers, I imagine. But if you're trafficking drugs in China, yeah, I think you're going to run into some problems. But there are historical reasons why they treat these things a lot more seriously. My mom keeps going on about China supposedly flooding the U.S. with drugs. Is that what he's talking about? Yeah, it's like China's sending all the fentanyl. It's China's fault. It's China's fault, the drug the opioid epidemic, right? Remember, it's not the Sacklers. It's not these big corporate conglomerate drug pushers that got millions of people addicted to opioids. It's China's fault. It's China's fault. It's China working with MS-13 to get fentanyl over the southern border or whatever. I think that's what they're going with, right? Something like that. I don't even want to get into should we look at the transphobia part? I mean, that's just that shit is just disgusting, you know? The way that and again, this has failed. Like the whole like trans panic has failed to connect with people. It's just alienated people. This obsession with trans people, which makes it all the more pathetic that Trump is still doing this, along with this tough on crime bullshit that has completely failed to connect with people. And that's not even something to joke around. You know, it's just sickening. What Trump and other conservatives are saying about this. And any of these like post-left fucking losers or MAGA communists should be embarrassed that they contribute to that. Did he mention Ukraine at all? Well, that's the only thing. He seemed to mention like liberals like push towards World War III and nuclear annihilation, which again, he kind of had a point. That was as much as I could tell, though.
From the FBI and the DOJ, we must conduct a top-to-bottom overhaul to clean out the festering rot and corruption.
Why didn't you do it the first time, asshole? Why, you were there. He was the president. He had Congress. He had the Senate. What the fuck? You should have got rid of the deep state when you had the chance, asshole. Guess what? You blew it. You backed down. You kissed the deep state's feet. You said, "Oh, I'm the FBI. Thank you so much." Yeah, you fired James Comey. You didn't go after the deep state. Why didn't he do this? You had the chance to do this, sir. You fucking blew it. Why should anyone believe that he's going to go after these people there? He's going to purge all the deep state guys. And these MAGA communists or whoever these losers are still believe this shit. He did, then Brandon got it back. That's right. Just 4 more years and he's going to drain the swamp. Come on, like, who believes this shit? You had your chance. You had your chance to drain the swamp and get rid of the deep state. You fucking blew it, sir. Low energy. How much more is this? Fuck. I'm bored with this already.
To take on this rigged and corrupt system, we'll be faced with a storm of fire that only a few could understand, right? I happen to have some children in the front row. I think they understand. In fact, my one boy, stand up, Eric.
My beautiful boy. I don't think he's a child. He's like a 40-year-old man. He's not a child. But okay.
Be intimidated. We will persevere. We will stand tall in the storm. We will march forward into the torrent. But we will not be intimidated. We will persevere. We will stand tall in the storm. We will march forward into the torrent. But we will not make America strong again. We will make America
Yeah, all these country club losers have long COVID. They're all tired.
We will make America safe again. We will make America glorious again. And we will make America great again. Thank you very much. God bless you all. Thank
Past
you.
their bedtime. They said the code word storm. That's right. Okay. I don't know. I guess I have a similar reaction to all this bullshit. It did seem very low energy. Do not count him out, though. Do not count this man out. I see people doing it already. And even though the Nick Fuenteses of the world were turned off by this, that are bored by this, he's gonna do one rally. He's gonna have the juice again. He's gonna be doing the riffing, and people are gonna be right back on the train. So I do not underestimate this guy. So weird to use this as a tagline once you've already been president. It's crazy not to come up with something fresher. I mean, it works though because of Brandon. You know, keep America great didn't work because obviously all the problems were still there. So he was doing this whole keep America great thing when it was being in the middle of this fucking pandemic. And now you can say Brandon ruined all the progress you're making, so we had to make it great again. Maybe that should be the new tagline. Make America great again, folks. You know? Who's counting out Trump? I see lots of people saying, like, oh, it's low energy. He doesn't have the juice. His heart's not in it. He did toy with that? Okay, that's good. Don't count out this man. Remember this famous clip? Don't be one of these people. Like we've been through this already. We've been through this already. Where's that Keith Ellison clip about Donald Trump? Remember this? May 4th, 2016. Don't be one of these people. Keith knew what was up.
All I want to say is that anybody from the Democratic side of the fence who thinks that, who's terrified of the possibility of President Trump, better vote, better get active, better get involved, because this man has got some momentum, and we better be ready for the fact that he might be leading the Republican ticket.
Next, I know you don't believe that, but I want to go on.
Yeah, very, very funny. Very, very good, very funny stuff, wasn't it? It's just so unbelievable. No, that could never happen. That could never happen. Like, that's the most smug fucking laugh you can imagine. It is 2016, however. We already have people counting this guy out. They're already doing this. He's too low energy. He can't do it again. The face, Warlock, the face could be a good emote, but I'm going to get people yelling at me if I have yet another female emote that's like mocking someone. All my female emotes on this channel are all like used to mock and belittle women. So I can't, even though this would be a good emote, I can't do it. I can't do it. It is kind of the gimmick. It is true. It is true. Hold on just one second. I'm just going to go plug my phone in, and then I'm going to, because I got to charge that before I go. I'm going to go plug that in, and we'll say goodbye. It is a good emote. And we do have a Lodane emote as well. And Lodane is incredibly cool. And we love her, don't we? So that is my one non-sexist female emote. And Momo, of course. As well. Thank you for watching the stream, folks. That's a wrap for the season premiere. The season premiere of TRRS Season 3. I don't hate women. Look, I've got one female emote of my friend Lodane. That's right. Now, folks, we're 5 subs away from the goal. Wouldn't it be a good way to end the season premiere? It's been a memorable one. Wouldn't it be a good way to end the season premiere by getting to that sub goal?
You've just become an elite member
my goodness
of the
gracious.
Friendship Triangle.
I don't hate women, but the only one I can name is my cat. Lodane being used as a shield against the allegations. That is very rough. I agree. And thank you, M. Gauntlet. Thank you, M. Gauntlet, for the 5 gifted subs. That's very, very kind of you. Take my gifties or else. Oh, okay. I will do that. Notice how Rob just doubled the number of women he respects from only Lodane to also Momo. Very true. Look at that. See how easy that is? See how easy it is to respect women over here? It's simple. I'm very inexperienced in learning more about China. Any sources that you recommend? Well, I would recommend, we watch a lot of content from Breakthrough News. So the Breakthrough News stuff that they do when they talk about China is done in a very nuanced way. One good Chinese YouTuber was it Andy? Oh, what's his name, folks? What's the YouTuber that we're talking about here? The Dongsheng newsletters? Dongsheng News, yes, that's great. Bleep Blonde Band in her Discord, also good. Andy Borham. Yeah, he does a YouTube channel called Reports on China. That's good as well. Yeah, thank you, John. Ben Norton, Friends of Socialist China. Yeah, these are all good. These are all solid resources. Thanks for watching the stream, everybody. Thank you. I appreciate that everyone tuned in. I appreciate you all. Thank you for... Oh, fuck. Almost had an echo there. Sorry about that. Thank you all for watching. Thanks for supporting the content. Thanks for supporting the stream. I really, really appreciate it. TRRS rising. That is one thing I would really love, and I don't want to count on this. I would really love for this season to grow this community. I think this community, I love this community. I think it can be even bigger and even better. And I think that's the goal. That's the goal in season 3. We want to get this content out to even more people. We want even more folks getting pulled into this community. You know, this community, this wonderful community where we support each other, where we have the correct ideas, the correct analysis. Hopefully this is the year. This is the year of TRRS rising, and more people are going to get pulled into this by their own free will, of course. Obviously, and it's not a cult. We need to lure more unsuspecting Twitch viewers into our normal friendship club. It's not a cult, to be clear. But if I had one wish for season 3, that would be it. It's funny because early in season 2, around February when the whole Russia-Ukraine thing kicked off, it felt like I was ready to take that next step, and then so many people got mad about my Ukraine takes that I feel like I went backwards. Anyway, I'll see you folks tomorrow. I love you. Goodbye.